welcome to this week's video. These are the videos where I vlog about my week as a working musician in the UK. Now, coming up on this week's video, I get the audience to sing along with one of my songs they've never heard before.
I wasn't expecting it to be that fun.
And I get what I think is quite a good guitar sound without an amp. And I sing very high. In the week just gone, I did a support slot playing my own songs to an artist who was over from Nashville playing in the UK, an artist called Sam Lewis. Now, this gig was in Lewis, spelt differently, and I did a 30-minute set of my own material solo on acoustic guitar. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you this little clip that I put together for my social media. And if you don't follow me on social media, go and find me on there if you like. On Instagram and Facebook, it's I am TJ Walker, all one handle or whatever you call it, so go and find me on there if you can. I put together this little snippet of my song called Long Game, which is the title track from my first album, and thank you Glenn, who I hope might watch this, for the close-up footage. I've put together footage from two cameras, one from Glenn who was sat right at the front, and I have my GoPro up near the sound desk, so I've kind of linked them together. So this is just a little short 1-minute clip of me playing the song Long Game.
I met your mother, I had a string of fancy cars, a Tornado, Eldorado, crystal blue, continental mark. Now a luxury coupe won't be no use when I'm old and grey. So life is something up I'd like to drive until my dying day. It'll make you late, it'll let you down, bust your rails, give you the runaround, make you keep on breaking down, start thinking about the long game. You can't leave it anywhere, when you get back it might not be there. Drive you to drink to despair, start thinking about the long game. Thinking about the long game. Thinking about the long game.
Now I want to show you the bit where I get the audience singing along. Now of course most of them hadn't heard this song before, a few of them had, but it's called I Should Have Been a Cowboy, and I thought this would be a nice one to get them singing along, and I managed to do it quite surprisingly, so just because I was pleased it worked, I'm going to show you this clip.
I guess I should have been a cowboy. I could have played those cowboy songs, helping pretty much singing. Maybe they'd sing along, yeah. Actually, will you sing along? I mean, I know this is difficult doing a sing-along when you've only just heard the song, but let's do it. So we're going to go, I guess I should have been a cowboy. I should have played those cowboy songs. I could have played those cowboy songs. I'll get the words right, that would help. I guess I could have been a cowboy. I could have played those cowboy songs. I guess I should have been a cowboy. I could have played those cowboy songs. You carry on from it while I do a guitar solo. Oh yeah. I could have played those cowboy songs. Well, this is good. I wasn't expecting it to be that fun. Yeah. Thank you. That's good. I'm going to keep that in. I'll pretend next time I haven't done it before, but that was the very first time I've done it.
Both those songs I've just played you, they're off my first album, which is called Long Game, which, I have got a copy here. And the CD, as well as my new ones, available on my website. And they're all available digitally on all platforms as well. So all the links are on my website as well. So that's www.iamtjwalker.com. So if you go on there, you can find out where you can get hold of my music if you'd like to have a better listen. Now I'm going to show you just one more clip from the final song, which was Long Game. I've shown you a bit of that one already, but this is the solo I did, and I did some more looping. Now it was interesting on this gig because I listened to Sam sound checking and in his set, and he had, I heard this afterwards, he was telling someone, he had a Martin with a passive Fishman pickup, and it was going into a Fishman, the floor pedal, I think it's called the Platinum EQ, and it sounded very nice. Now he was playing very softly, doing kind of finger picking style, very different from the way I'm thrashing away and looping and doing lead stuff, and it sounded very nice, his guitar. But it did get me to thinking that maybe I always used to use my Fishman Aura, which I know is a slightly different Fishman thing, but I don't need the preamp because I've got one built into my guitar, but the Quad Cortex still isn't quite as good as overlaying the impulse response as the Fishman is. Now I'm hoping when the new Quad Cortex OS update comes out, then it will have this new IR loader, which will give me more options and hopefully make the abilities to load the acoustic IRs onto it better, and therefore I get a better acoustic sound. So I am thinking for these kind of gigs I might start using my Fishman in line with the Quad Cortex as well, maybe using it in the effects loop. So see what you think of this sound and the looping. And I did make a mistake on here. Now this was a schoolboy error. I've realised I shouldn't have done this, but as I looped up the solo I got the audience to clap along. And it's very difficult to clap along with a loop or play along with a loop unless you can really hear it clearly. I mean, I can do it when I'm playing on my own, but if I play with other musicians and I'll get a loop going, both myself and the other musicians find it really hard to stay in time with it. So expecting the audience to be able to stay in time with it while I'm soloing over it and they've got all the other noise going on was a bit ambitious, and they did drift out. Of course they did, and I had to stop, cut the solo short. I was going to do a bit of a longer solo, but it was all going a bit out of time and I couldn't hear where I was myself. So schoolboy error, lesson learnt, I won't be doing that again. It was funny that Sam in his set afterwards, he kind of said, I would get you guys to sing along, but it would just throw me off. So I don't know if he heard that happen or whether he's just one of his gags that he puts in anyway, but it was very funny. So here we are, here's Long Game again. This was the solo section at the end, so check this out. You'll hear my looping and then my mistake of getting the audience to clap.
Catching his eye in the rear view, I bet he's never had a car in crystal blue. That's all for me. Thank you very much. I'll see you out there if you want to see it.
Now on to another gig. Now this was a bit different as well. This is a band that I play in, and I mentioned this gig last week. We put a show together called Live from the Troubadour, which is celebrating the singer-songwriters of the 70s, and basically the idea of the show was anybody who played at the Troubadour in LA, we could cover their songs. Now, the band is called the Robin Scott Band, led by Robin, who's a brilliant keyboard player and singer, and you'll see in these clips. And the rest of the band is Louise, Barry and Dave, and it's a great band and really enjoy doing this. So we put this show on ourselves, something which we hadn't done before, and it went down really well and it was really enjoyable. Now, in addition to that, now getting on to the technical nerdery here, we also had a PA man who came in. His name was Fish, not from Marillion, so it was him and Sonia did the PA for us and got a fantastic sound. And on this gig I didn't use an amp, I used just my Quad Cortex for my acoustic and electric guitar, and it works well in this instance because I was able to use my in-ear monitors. I had an app where I could get my mix. We all could have used in-ears. Louise the singer used a wedge, as Robin did, I think, but it meant that we could all have our own mixes, and not having the guitar amp out on stage really kept the volume down on stage, which was great. I know in that room it's quite a loud, echoey room, and keeping the volume down on stage made it much easier because it's a real vocal gig, so everyone being able to hear what they're singing made a big difference, and it worked out really well. I got really good sound. I was pleased with it. So I'm going to show you some clips here. This is what the acoustic guitar sounded like. Now, the preset I'm using, I'm able to plug my acoustic and electric guitar through at the same time. I've shown this preset before because I originally set it up for doing an Elton John gig. I showed this on a video quite some time back, and I think it's available on the Cortex Cloud under my username, which is I am TJ Walker, I believe. So I have both guitars plugged in the whole time, and I can just switch between the two, and I've set up a button where I can mute the acoustic while I'm playing the electric. So here we are, here's the acoustic guitar sound. I'm going to show you one clip from the rehearsal where it's a bit clearer, and then I'm going to show you one from the gig.
When you're down and trouble, just kiss me alone and let me know you're gone.
And now a couple of electric guitar solos. I was very pleased when I heard these back, what they sounded like out the front, because obviously all I'm hearing them is in my ears, which gives me some idea, but it was just nice hearing it with the ambience of the room from the camera microphone afterwards, and yeah, it came out really well, and I shall be doing that again when I've got proper monitor, in-ear monitor mixing, use the Quad Cortex. In fact, I'm going to email the guy that I'm playing with this Saturday and ask if I can do it then. So here we are, here's a couple of solos, again, one from the rehearsal and one from the gig. Finally, another gig here, and I'm not using the Quad Cortex on this one, but I am using my brand new Eventide H9 pedal. Last week I covered on my video my distress at having bought the Eventide H9 on the day that the H90 came out, not knowing that it was going to be coming out. But I'm still glad I bought it because it's a very good pedal and it fits on my pedal board and all those things I talked about last week. So if you want to check that out, have a look at my video from last week. But I just wanted to show you these couple of clips because I quite like the sounds that I got, these couple of presets that I use. Now this first one is a solo and I'm using a lead delay sound. I've kind of tweaked one of the presets that it came with and it's using the mod delay algorithm. So check this one out. I quite like the sound of this delay. Finally, I'm going to leave you with this solo. This is Kiss by Prince and I'm using the auto wah. Again, I think it was one of the presets that it came with and I've tweaked it myself, and I've actually I've downloaded Corey Wong's preset which he put on a bulletin board somewhere. I found it absolutely ages ago before I got the H9, hoping that one day I'd get one. So now I've put the Corey Wong auto wah on my H9, although I had to tweak it because it wasn't quite doing what I wanted it to do because maybe my guitar's got a different output to his. Anyway, it sounds similar to this, but this is pretty cool. I like this auto wah. I've never had one before. Well, I've got one on the Quad Cortex, but I've never had one on my standard pedal board. So on this gig, I should have mentioned I'm playing through my Milkman amp, which I've shown in many videos before, and my standard pedal board, which I've shown on many videos before. Check out some of my old videos if you want to see what that is. So this preset, yes, this is the auto wah, and I think I turn it off halfway through and switch over to good old-fashioned manual wah. And if you watch this right to the end, you'll hear the very high, silly singing again. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm bringing out new videos every week. I bring them out at 7 PM UK time on a Friday, every Friday. So hopefully I'll see you next week.
Cheers.